Okay, so I've been working for a continuous delivery vendor now for about 8 years. And it's funny, one of the questions we get the most is, okay, I want to do CD, where do I start? And it's an impossible question. It's a little bit like asking, how long does it take to build a house? What kind of house? I don't really know. But one of the ways to try to figure out where you can start is by first getting a really good understanding of what you're doing and where the waste is. And so, value stream mapping is a method for finding waste in a process that's actually worked pretty well for a lot of folks. Now, I got to tell you, this is a 5-minute talk. And so there's a lot of information out there on value stream mapping. It gets very, very deep. We're not going to quite go that deep today, but, easy to understand, right? So first thing, the reason you're doing this, is that you really want to have a common understanding. You want to make sure that everybody in your organization agrees, what we're doing, when we're doing it, why we're doing it. I don't think there's a single person in here that can tell me from idea to production everything you do in your process. I just don't believe that there is. So the purpose of creating it is we need to establish a baseline. We need to know where we are now, or we can't measure if we're getting any better. There's probably things you're doing that people don't know about, so raise some visibility and so forth. So you do this by having the worst meeting in the world. It's one of those ones where everybody is there, or at least everybody from every department. And it's really important that it's the actual practitioners, not the person that knows what they do, the person that actually does it, okay? So for today, this is the one we're going to choose. I had to choose something that I think most people can at least go to. So we're doing a value stream map of getting a teenager to do his chores, because there's some friction around this process and there's some room for improvement. So first off, why lay out in the meeting, why are you even doing this? What's the value we expect from doing this? Get out the challenges. Ours is 19 and he says, I don't need to do chores anymore, I'm too old. The constraint is he can pay rent if he's not going to do chores. So we look at the process. So the first thing you do is you count the things that the actual process is and you put some time on them. So these are his 3 big chores and how long each one of them takes. In between that then, the next thing you need to do is figure out the actual lead time. So, for this, it should be pretty quick. But in our world, this is where a lot of the waste you might find. It might be that, running the test is really fast, but provisioning the environment takes a service ticket and da-da-da-da, so that might be your place to start. Now, as I mentioned, you want to have everybody in the room. You want to have the people that do the work. So when Mom talks about this, she's like, yeah, there's some more steps here. Okay, and not surprisingly, the undocumented steps are where most of the waste is. So then when you actually get down to the tasks, again, you want to count what you're actually doing, including all the constraints. So when this is done in lean manufacturing, it gets supply closer to the person doing the work, et cetera. At our house, I don't know why, but the trash cans and the recycling are way apart. Cleaning up the dog crap in our yard is a little different than some yards. Our small dog is 110 pounds. That one's 140. Yeah, it's different. So understand that because this company did this in that amount of time, that has nothing to do with yours. Also pay attention to the room itself. As it turns out, the chore with the most friction is doing the dishes. He hates it so much that I swear he offered to pay me to do them. He doesn't have that kind of money. Okay, so. And also, this is where we had the most angst. This is where the most quality issues were coming from. Mom does not like a sink full of dirty dishes. The dogs can get in the sink really easily. So we had some things here. So this is what we think we want to focus on. So we drill further into this particular process. And we look at what the steps are. Did you do that or did I do that? Okay. We look at what the steps are, what he does to actually do this, and why does it take 30 minutes, because it shouldn't take 30 minutes. And these are the steps. Now, when you improve it, I've skipped a bunch here because 5 minutes. When you improve it, be open to completely disruptive change. So we actually really did this. So now his job is to empty the dishwasher, and it's our job as part of the team to put dishes in as we create them. And so we don't get the piles and we don't get so forth. So then what you get at the end is your improvement. So this is the time it used to take, this is the time it takes now by eliminating waste. But we didn't start with the first chore, we actually started with the last, because that's where the waste was. So summary, it's a whole team thing. Don't believe that somebody knows what somebody else does. You don't. Count the real work. If you're doing silly stuff, stop. We shouldn't have to yell 3 times. And that's it. Thanks.